Things I've learned and I'm still learning throughout life. Part 1. Never put other people so much over you that you self-abuse. So being considerate of others should not equal self-abuse. By that I simply mean humble yourself before God, period. And that is it. But also respectfully create boundaries to where you can be considerate of someone, but also know it's not going to come at a cost of self-disrespect. Will not talk to me, think you can talk to me, or do whatever you want to do to me without any consequences of how I'm going to respond to you. Now, this is something that I say I'm still learning. I've learned, but I'm still learning because depending who the person is, we don't want to be considered rude depending on how you were raised. You don't want to be considered, that person. But sometimes you have to be the villain in people's life, and respectfully so, okay? Because people be playing with you when they think, oh, you're so kind, you're so this, oh, you're so sweet. Like, just as extremely sweet and kind as I am, just believe I can be extremely not sweet and kind too. Don't take this all for granted. You better be happy that you see this, okay? Because when I play the villain, when I become the villain in your life, best believe I'm gonna be the best one. I'm great at doing my job, whatever the position is. So tread lightly. All right, number 2, don't get to the point in your life where God has to literally allow certain things to happen that gives you no other choice but to make the choice that you should have made in the beginning. Let me repeat that. Don't let your life get to the point where God has to allow certain things to happen where you have no choice, and the only choice is the choice you should have made all the way back. And I say that because sometimes when we get into relationship, friendships, even when it comes to family or your job, we have a natural instinct to know when we need to get away. We have a natural instinct to know when we need to stop playing with ourselves. We have a natural instinct to know all of these things. But because of the sake of being considerate of others, being very compassionate, we get into this thing of like, making excuses. Well, they're going through things. And as true as that may be, as true as their mental illness could be, as true as the depression could be, as true as they might have lost someone in their grieving, as true as all of that may be, don't allow it to get to the point where you just keep making excuses after excuses. There could be reasons as to why they're acting a certain way. Their anger problem could be a reason. Their childhood trauma could be the reason why they are the way they are. But it does not excuse them of being that way to you. And the minute we start making those little rationalization for others' feelings and others' emotions and other actions, the more we are disrespecting ourselves. And then one day God's going to get so fed up and say, you know what, I'm going to show you that you should have been let this friendship. And he will allow something to happen where you have no choice but to leave. Don't let it get to that point. I'm not saying God is going to make something happen. No, I'm just saying that sometimes we wait so long to leave a situation to the point where we have no choice but to leave. And then it causes us more headaches, more trauma, more pain, more things we need to heal from. It makes us have even more problems than we really should. So just don't let it get to that point. The third things I've learned is that sometimes you need to pick and choose when to communicate. Now, if you're in a situation or a friendship, whatever, or a job, you need to understand that not every single thing needs communication. If people know what they're doing, they know what you're doing. I don't pass anything by anyone. Meaning, if you are about the age of understanding right from wrong, then you are literally capable of anything. The good and the bad. And because of that, you're capable of treating me however you treat me. You're capable of lying to me. You're capable of just being the best and the worst person in my life. So I need to, usually what I do is I do little experiments. I will, from afar, observe you, observe how you are around me, how you are around someone. Now, if in an instant of you feel like, your friend switches up or people are like being flaky and funny, Sometimes it could be a situational thing and not all the time. But I will observe their character and I would just be like, take notes. That's how you are. And then I would go so far to see like, okay, are you aware of this? Or are you like just ignorant to yourself? Because those two things matters. I'm sorry. Friendships are important to me. I need to know if this person is willfully, knowingly playing my face, or is this something you really do need to go to therapy for? Now, when I say from afar, and I mean like I'm not gonna come around you, sometimes that means I might just take time away from texting and hanging out. But I can be in the room with you, hanging out with you, and still observing how you are, just to take notes. Because for me, I know how I get when I'm emotional. I know how I get when I feel hurt, and there's gonna be no consolidation when it comes to that. That's why it takes me a long time to get to that point. Because when I'm at that point, just believe God Himself is gonna have to be the one to get me down. Okay, so knowing that about myself, I choose when to have communications with people. I choose when to talk about certain things. I choose if they even deserve my communication, because my whole communication with you about something that you're doing is a therapy, is honestly therapy, and I charge for therapy. So you're not gonna get it free. But no, seriously, like you need to take the time to like know, do they even deserve your communication? Do they? Or are they just aware of what they're doing and they're just going around doing it because you're like, okay, so the very last thing I want everyone to take away from this whole thing is it is okay to give grace for people's mistake. When sometimes you don't understand why people forgive and they forget and they're still hanging out, it's because they give grace for others to be bad people, to be bad characters in their life. Doesn't mean they accept it, but understanding that everyone's journey is different in this world. And someone might not know, even if they do know, maybe they needed a wake-up call, maybe they needed some healing, they needed therapy. But understanding that and giving grace to that does not mean accepting that you deserved what happened to you. Does not mean accepting you deserve the bad friendship. Does not mean accepting you deserve anything that caused your health to deplete and your joy to decrease. So what I've learned is that doing this kind of leaves you with the responsibility of your own happiness. It leaves you accountable to whether you choose to stay in a certain situation, a certain friendship, how long you choose to stay, or if you choose to leave and go plant somewhere else. And I say that because a lot of times we don't understand why people forgive and why people are so kind. Usually it has nothing to do with them being naive. It has nothing to do with them not knowing that person was a horrible person. But it has everything to do with the grace that they allow others to just be who they are. And they get to choose accordingly, how am I going to respond to that? I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. I'm not going to tell you how to treat people. What I am going to do, however, is allow you to be who you are. I'm giving you that grace to go through your own journey. I'm going to pray for you, go through your own journey. But I just want you to understand, doing that means being prepared to receive however I respond to how you treat me. Yeah. And a lot of people are not ready for that. They want to treat people however they want to treat them, but they're not ready for someone to put a mirror in front of them and be like, all right, do it again. You know? So I would give people grace. Do as you please. But understand my boundaries. When it's time for my boundaries to be down, when it's time for me to react holily, when it's time for me to react, when it's time for me to walk away, just know you got your grace and you abused it. So don't be surprised when I'm no longer in your life. Before I go, I'm just wearing sweats and a crop because I'm on a chill day kind of thing, you know? But anyways, I know someone will be like, girl, you give people too many chances. I do. But that's how my mind and my heart works. That's the only way I can walk away from someone, a situation, knowing that I did what I needed to do. Because I've been in a situation where, actually no, I haven't, because I've never allowed myself to be in a situation where I'm like, darn it, I should have done more. I don't want to be that person. And is that something I need to work on in therapy? Maybe it is. But I would give as much space, as much time, as much grace as I need to for anyone, because when my decision is made at the end, ain't no way I'm going backwards. Toodles. So those are the few things that I've learned so far, and I'm still learning. Come back for part 2 because there's more.